All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Miriam Dorsett. I'm the founder of Chibur. We build brands and products for artists and community organizations. And today I'm live on Entre, the #1 fastest growing professional network in Web3 and the new way to work. I'm very excited to welcome Hannah Devoe to the stream today. We're going to dive into a conversation about a lot of interesting topics. It really feels great to see everybody, so thank you for joining. I appreciate you coming to the stream. You can chime in with any questions and reactions. You can chat with us, even if you feel like raising your hand, coming on stage. Make sure to just engage with us. We want you part of this conversation today. Hey, Hannah, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I am at the house drinking coffee. For those of you guys that don't know who Hannah is, she is a content creator who teaches people more about occult sciences and how to hack the quantum field with their minds. She has made it her life's mission to bridge the illusory gap between science and spirituality because they are two sides of the same coin. These are some words that are beyond I'm reading for the first time, Hannah. I'm so excited. I'm going to learn so much from you today. We're going to drop all her links into the social chat so you can follow her on all channels. And we've set her up as well with a profile here on Entre. So you can follow her today if you're not already doing that. Hannah, let's start with some of these words. Because I can't go forward without knowing what we're talking about. So tell me what the occult sciences are.
So occult science is kind of just like a blanket term that is describing a lot of theoretical aspects of like physics and science, and they're only really considered theoretical because of the fact that we don't have the tools to properly quantify a lot of what these theories are describing. So the same way that alchemy was transformed into chemistry and, herbal medicine was transformed into pharmaceuticals, all magic and all things that are affiliated as like magical and pseudo and all of that stuff are just things that we cannot yet explain scientifically. So, when I say like the illusory gap between science and spirituality, science has kind of become very material based. I call it materialist science. And I consider it a religion, honestly. It's basically just, a way of thinking that only integrates what we can currently explain with the current states of mind, the current ways of being, with our current perception of things, our current tools, all of that. Materialist science doesn't really allow for anything outside of that. Mm-hmm. It can be kind of restrictive in that regard. And that's not really what science is about. Right? Like science is all about expansion. It is an art form. I mean, it's a form of art. Science and art, science and magic are one and the same. It's all just different languages for explaining the same thing.
If I want to go to school and get a degree in occult sciences, can I do that today?
No. You could join a mystery school.
Oh, that's so funny. I was literally at coffee earlier today with a woman, and she was talking about this mystery school. She's a long-standing member there. Her name's Emily. She's very, very powerful, like very strong. Like I was like, oh, obsessed with you. Love that. So this is interesting. I want to dive. I mean, we could probably have a whole stream just about the occult sciences. I think we can agree on that.
Definitely.
But we're here now. Tell us a little bit about where you are located in the world. Can you show us anything that's kind of like, I always like to ask people, like, what's on your desk? What are you working around? Like that can give us a little bit of a peek into, for those that don't already know you, a little bit about you.
So my desk is like kind of a mess right now, but I have a lot of books. Let's see. I have this really awesome book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. It's great.
Okay. That's a thick one. I love that.
Yeah, I definitely have. I jump around. I can't like commit to reading it like straightforward. I have to kind of like pick, chapters and just do it in bunches.
Yes. And I know that you have you, I don't want to spoil anything. This is going to be super VIP information if Hannah hasn't officially announced this yet. And I hope you don't mind that I'm saying, because do you have your website up yet? Can we share it? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. All right. I don't know when things get launched or released. Okay. Do you want to,
I can type it in the
type that up, or we can screen share, or I can screen share it. And why don't we go into, give us a little bit of the overview of the brand that you're building with MadameDevoe.com. What can we expect here? Because I know that most people already are knowing you for your YouTube channel. You've had wild success there. And now you've launched Madame Devoe. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's really just an extension of my YouTube channel. I'm such a firm believer that information isn't something that should be capitalized on. Like, I think knowledge and information is just a human right. So my YouTube channel is kind of for that. And the brand that I'm building, Madame Devoe, paired with the YouTube channel, is more of kind of like a teaching space for me to assist others, like one-on-one, in a service-based manner, to activate their psychic gifts, I guess you could say, or like extrasensory perception, as a way to connect to themselves and connect with the environment, so that we can have a better world.
Beautiful. Wow. Are you guys seeing this? Is my screen sharing okay? Wait, can you hear me now or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks great.
Okay, good. Everybody can see it. Okay. I am obsessed. It's so beautiful. Hannah! So those of you guys that don't know, I'm a little extra giddy because I know Hannah. But this is the first time I'm looking at her website. Oh my God. It's so good. So this is what is coming up for you. You've dedicated your life to this purpose. Tell us about a little bit more about that. What is this vision that you have?
So I'm going to be utilizing this site primarily to coach people into activating extrasensory perception, and also the ability to manifest and really transmute a lot of limiting beliefs that people have, because the foundation behind any desire is some kind of fear belief that you can't have that thing. That's why the desire is there. It's like that longing. So I'm basically aiming to replace all of people's longings with confidence, so that they can have everything that they want, because everything that we want is a human right.
I love that. And how did you come up with the name Hannah Devoe, Madame Devoe, or the website, Limitless, all of these words that you're using to describe what you're doing?
So Madame Devoe was just something that kind of came through. I had wanted to start a YouTube channel for a much, much longer time before I had actually started one. And I'd always thought to myself, what would I call myself? And Madame Devoe came through just crisp and clear, and it stuck. And I had a couple people tell me it was goofy, but I was just like, nah, it really sits with me, it resonates with me, and it stuck. And I know that Madame is technically a married woman, but I think that's maybe a little foretelling of my own life path. So
I love that. I think it's beautiful. We were talking a little bit earlier about all the domain names and things that you can do. I also like Limitless, though. I really am into that whole concept. I love that song by Usher, No Limit. I jam to that one all the time. That's my jam. You create a ton of content on YouTube. What do you see as things are coming together? YouTube, TikTok, Web3. Any thoughts on where we're going with content creation in general?
I think content creation is the next most profitable market. And I'm talking about in a job sense. I think content creators are becoming increasingly valuable as e-commerce rises, we're having the rise of everybody starting their own business, everybody really needing marketing and social media being a thing. I'm fully convinced that in the next decade or so, content creators is at least going to be top 3 in most profitable career paths, for sure, without a doubt.
When did you get into content creation and starting your YouTube channel? Let's pull that up too.
So my first YouTube video was, I believe it was like January 8th, 2019. But it was a tarot card reading. It wasn't anything like profound or proficient. As far as content creation goes, it extends back even further than that, because I've always loved photography and I've always loved video creation. Even before I made YouTube videos, I always loved creating in all regards.
Look at you, kitten. Oh, I cannot even do it. Okay, so your first YouTube live stream was a tarot card reading, like you reading someone's cards for them?
I was just reading whoever watched the video. So the idea is that anybody that clicks on the video, the reading is automatically for them because their awareness goes to video.
Okay, and was it live though or no?
It was not live, no. It was just a video that I made.
Got it. Very cool. Because I see on TikTok all the time these they come up on my feed where it's somebody doing readings or things like that, and hundreds and thousands of people are in these.
It's a really profitable niche. It really is, and it's growing too.
I love it, and I agree. I think that things are really shifting when it comes to content creation, and it is going to be massively profitable. Is it too late for someone, would you say, if they want to get into start creating a YouTube channel? Can they do it now?
Absolutely. I mean, any time is a great time to start. Now is always the best time to start. Anytime you feel called is always the best time. But right now, as far as like statistically, yes, I think this is a really good time to get into content creation, because even though it's booming, we're kind of just seeing like the beginning of that. I think it's going to continue to boom and exponentially grow over the course of the next decade for sure.
Great. Do you have any best practices or tips, words of wisdom that you could give to somebody who says, you know what, I want to start a YouTube channel, build up a following?
Just do it. Honestly, words of Nike. You just
Right.
do it. I mean, like, that was the biggest thing that I had to kind of get over, like that little hump, was being in the space of like really wanting to start a channel, but kind of holding yourself back because you're like, oh, well, like, what is everybody going to think of me? Especially your close friends and family, right? Like when I first started pursuing my YouTube channel and I told my parents, I do not resonate with what I'm doing right now. My life path right now is not what I'm feeling. I'm gonna drop out of school and I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, reading tarot cards. Of course, my parents were like, what are you doing? And everybody else too, a lot of other people in my life were like, what are you doing? And I just continued to listen to myself. Like, I didn't care what anybody else was saying, because at the end of the day, like, you're going to be there for yourself regardless, in the worst of times, best of times, it's always going to be you. So like, to kind of wait for everybody else's permission to do whatever it is that you're feeling called to do is almost like a disservice to self. It's like disrespecting yourself. You're like putting other people's wants and desires and their dreams for you and their perceptions of what you should be doing. You're putting that above your own passions and callings. And God, like, I couldn't even imagine the regret I would feel if I would have listened to everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I've had a chance to meet some of your sister. She's lovely. How was she supportive of it when you first got in, or is she like also like, what are you doing?
Well, her and I actually weren't very close at the time because we're so far apart in age. Like, she's only she's 4 years younger than me. So at the time she was still kind of like in early high school and I was like in college. So like, our lives were just at different places and we really weren't super close. So she was never like against it or anything, but I mean, it wasn't ever anything that she was like, don't do it. Like, it was just kind of like, I think she was indifferent.
she was living, we all were, living in our own worlds, and at that age, she probably was just like, who cares, whatever. Oh, you're doing YouTube, you're so silly, sister. Yeah. And okay, so I'm really trying to kind of understand, because I'm just starting YouTube right now. So when you did this first one, like, were you, you didn't go live. It wasn't live streaming. You recorded a video back then, and then you uploaded it to the internet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
what I did. People do that today, and they make it pretty and edit it and all that stuff too. That is,
you have to. People's content will get views regardless. I mean, there's people that put like cell phone videos.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, and they get hundreds of thousands of views. Like, I used to be in this space where I was like, oh, you have to doll it up and make it really pretty, and you have to have all these little technical things going on. Yes, like, I think from an aesthetic standpoint, those things are great, and they do help people really engage. But you're gonna get views regardless. Just keep putting out content. It doesn't matter what you're putting out. Like, the consistency is really the key. Like, as long as you got a camera on your phone, you got a webcam, like, you can make videos and you can put them up on YouTube, and they could be the next biggest thing,
Thanks, Sean. Good to see you. So yeah, I agree 100%. And that's totally, I'm putting out content. I'm like, let's just pump this stuff out. Let's see what goes down. And I love doing it and making it. It's so fun to talk to people and get to know them. I want to get into a little bit more about any challenges that you might have had along this journey of creating content. Like, have you ever had anything like bad comments or, negativity like that, and criticisms of what you're doing? How do you deal with challenge? How have you overcome the challenges that you've had on this journey?
So I definitely have dealt with like some pretty rude comments. I mean, I think anybody that puts themselves out in a public space will always have to deal with some sort of resistance. I used to get really upset when it first started happening. Like, I would get really upset, and it would be very draining. But now, I mean, it's just, I don't even really like, I guess I've just learned to like not let it bother me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just some random person that may or may, be in the same boat as me, doing something better or worse. Like, I don't really care anymore. It's like something that I just kind of brush off. But as far as like other challenges, I wouldn't say that bad comments is like maybe the most challenging part of this journey, because that's something that you can easily just kind of, water off a duck's back type of deal. I would say the biggest challenge is, following through with your passion and really staying authentic to yourself, while also having an audience to cater to and like really meet their needs and like whatever it is that they're looking for, while also staying true to yourself and not like completely selling out for your audience, but also not, completely avoiding the perceptions of your audience and their potential recommendations,
Right. Okay, great. Like, so let's tell me more about that. Like, because you're going through a transition time right now. You're turning a new leaf, right? And so is this a challenging, how do you get through those times? What are some tips that you can give people to, when they're a content creator a little farther along?
So you're definitely right. Like, I have been kind of switching over in terms of like my content model and like what I'm putting out. And it used to be very tarot focused and tarot heavy, but now it's kind of transitioning over towards this more educational based model, with like coaching and with educational content and videos and stuff. So I've definitely seen like a decline, like in terms of, all of the people that were really resonating with my tarot content and like only my tarot content, those people are starting to kind of dwindle off. But that happens, you know what I mean? We have to kind of, like a plant, shed leaves in order to grow new ones further down the line. So I like to kind of just see it as a, a little, not even fuzzy period, because it's not necessarily anything that's bad. It's just a transitionary phase at the moment. It's great. It's just about riding that wave until it ends up, kind of sparking up again.
Yeah. And I love, and so what about, I mean, sure that we could go into other challenges too, I'm sure, like setting up your business and getting, how to shoot good videos and all of those things too, but I love where you went with that because it's very just like can apply to anything. You got to switch it up sometimes, even if you're not creating content. Life, you go through changes. That's part of the beauty of it. And you may lose people along the way, but that's okay. Like what you're saying is it just makes room for new people to come in. So what are some of the new things outside of the coaching that people can now hire you for? How are you spending your time these days?
So I definitely like paint a lot, and I've gotten back into painting. That's like my most favorite thing to do ever. So I'm working on a couple of things.
You know this already. I'm obsessed with your paintings.
Yeah,
Do you have any? Like sometimes there's some in the backgrounds of stuff.
I have one like it's so big. I feel like it's just it might
like to bring it over.
Just to like, do you want me to bring it over?
Absolutely, 100%. We want to see this stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I do personally. This is my stream. I don't know about everybody else.
I'm just gonna like bring the laptop over to it. So.
I love it.
Because it's kind of set up real nice, with the little decorations and everything too.
It's so beautiful. And so how much do your followers know about Hannah Devoe? Like, do they all know where you're from and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I list my location on YouTube when I make my videos.
Yeah. Do they ask questions? And you answer them? Do you ever do things like that, like live Q&As?
I've never done a live Q&A, but I actually have done 2 Q&A videos where I had people on Instagram ask me, just questions that they wanted to know. Not necessarily about me. It was more like answering their questions about, how to figure themselves out and how to figure this realm out or whatever. So I've never done like an actual personalized one, which I think there's definitely people who have commented that they want to know more about like who I am, but I'm very reserved. So I struggle with like putting that kind of content out because I don't see this as like, it's like about me as like a person. This is a cause, you know what I mean? And I'm working for a cause.
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty cool person, but like at the end of the day, this is my mission. This is my mission. I'm not going to try to like make it about myself.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I'm going to make it about you for a little bit. I know I'm going off track with a little random questions and stuff, but because I don't want to bore people if they already know these things. But like, for example, that painting that you just showed us is very, you're from Texas. It's a very Southwest feel, but it has colors of, it's very modern colors. It looks like a Miami. Do you notice? It's like Miami Southwest. And I've spent a lot of time in the art galleries in New Mexico, and like those types, the pieces that you're painting would go so beautifully in a lot of this in the galleries there. Just my opinion. For those of you guys that are just joining, we are chatting with Madame Devoe, Hannah Devoe. For those of you guys that have never heard of her, let us know. Chime into the chat. Introduce yourself. She's a content creator who teaches people more about occult sciences and how to hack the quantum field with your mind. Okay, she's made it her life's mission to bridge the illusory gap between science and spirituality. I just learned a little bit earlier in this stream about the occult sciences. I'd never really dived into it before. But science, spirituality, Hannah's on her mission to let us all start to understand how these are two sides of the same coin. So chime in with your questions. She's well known on YouTube for her tarot readings. And we've gone into talking a little bit about where her business is going. There's some links in the chat. You can click onto her new website, madamedevoe.com, where she's offering some very exciting things. And we just started talking about her art. So it's great to see you guys. Please chime in with any questions that you have. Okay, so you're doing painting now. I'm going to pull it out of you as well. What are some of the other creative things that you're doing?
I'm also pursuing music.
This is very exciting, Hannah. You're so humble. And luckily people I know Hannah, so it's a different stream than I normally have with someone I don't know at all, but I know Hannah. But I also so I've never really gone and looked at her YouTube videos. I just know Hannah as Hannah. And so now I'm starting to discover this whole other side to my girlfriend that I'm really just obsessing over. I've listened to the music. She sent me some stuff. And where does your inspiration and stuff come for your music? Where does that come from?
I actually just kind of had an epiphany the other day that a lot of my my inspiration comes from reggaeton, which I never actually thought about, but it makes sense, just the way that it flows and the way that it kind of the beats and stuff like that. I love reggaeton music, and I don't know, it's a blend of a lot of different things, because I even really resonate with kind of folk indie, a lot of Americana, almost folk country type of music. That's something I would like to eventually get into. But right now it's mostly just pop, kind of R&B type of music.
Okay, and so you provided us with some links prior to the stream. I have your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, but what about, I know you have a Spotify or SoundCloud.
Yes, I do have a Spotify. I can link it.
Please do. Yes, we want to see that.
Okay.
I definitely, because we can even, do you mind if I play one of your songs? Just a snippet of it. We don't want to play the whole thing because I'm obsessed with them. You know that I am. Oh my God. Let me tell a little story for you guys. So I was in Texas and I met Hannah, and she was like, yeah, no. How did this happen? I'm trying to understand whether we did karaoke first or whether you told me you did music first. Do you remember?
Oh, I was playing music on the speaker, and one of my songs started playing, and I was like, oh, let me skip this. Because I was embarrassed. I didn't want you guys to hear it.
I mean, so crazy, girl. But then we played the song, the group that we were with, made Hannah play her music for us. And we were all just this is lit, girl. What's up? When are we launching this? And it was oh, it's on Spotify. Oh. So humble and sweet. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do some Spotify. Okay, so this link is not even publicized. People don't even know about this link. Just so you guys know that those of you that are joining, this is literally some VIP. Okay, you are in the VIP right now. People don't know about Hannah Devoe on Spotify yet. Let's see. I think it's the Molasses, right? Yeah. It's the Molasses, the one that we played, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go. Wait a minute. Just kidding. Oh, wow. Okay, so I need to log in. I would think it's going to be with this is so, we're going to have to do some editing to this video. What? Okay, perfect.
Genius and madness, it goes through just like molasses for you. You can say what you want about me, say what you like. You know there's something hidden in between the lines. I can take you there to my paradise if you show me how you can make it right. With all your genius and the madness growing thick just like molasses. And I can feel your energy from miles away. They hear that they can have this, but they'll find our love's advanced. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Thanks so much, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Dude, oh my God, this shit goes hard. I do not, I love it. Yes, look at people who are in the comments. I love this. Dude, it just, it low-key slaps. Let's be honest. The beat for that is so fire, right? And then you start to actually just listen to the words and your wordsmithing, the molasses, and it's so soft. I'm getting chills even just talking about it, to be honest with you. So what's going on with your music? Tell us more. Can you share us with anything about that. Like, it's totally okay if you're not ready to share. I don't want to push, but it's just, I'm very excited for the music.
No, we can talk about the music. We can talk about it. So my music is encoded with like healing messages, I guess. So it's basically just, everything is vibration, right? Everything is just being translated by our nervous system. All of these different sound and light vibrations are, being received by our nervous system as the sensory experience that we have every day. So like the sound vibrations that I'm putting out with my music are encoded with activating messages that basically empower people and help them feel more confident and all of that good stuff.
So good and so beautiful. Such a beautiful message behind this too. So one of the things that we wanted to get into was this whole concept of like manifesting your dream life, right? And understanding like this is your world. You make the rules, right? And I love this concept. People that follow me and such know that I'm obsessed with this whole manifesting and affirmations, and this is your journey. You can make what you want out of it stuff. Would you say that you're currently manifesting your dream life? Like this whole thing, making the music, the paintings, were these things that maybe 3 years ago you were putting out there, the vibrations for? Like, tell us a little bit about how you've manifested, and then if we can start to dive into how some other people can start to do this for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely have manifested everything that is going on in this moment right now. Even this live stream, I feel, is like a manifestation of something, because like I've been putting out a lot of different intentions for my career and all of that stuff. So I definitely think this is just a portion of it. But even living in Austin, like even the current location that I live in, it's all definitely, everything is just all of the intentions that I've set. So it's really great. Like it is a muscle for sure. And you definitely have to kind of like work with it and work at it. But once you get into a really good flow of manifesting, you just consistently put out intentions. I want this, this is happening for me, this is happening for me. And it'll just poof, poof, poof. It almost just kind of lays itself out there for you. But you just have to have the belief and the faith, that it's going to do so. So that's kind of what I've done is I'm just such a proponent of blind faith. Honestly, I know that there's a lot of people who advise against it, but my entire career has been built on blind faith. Everything that I've done, pretty much, even with my music, with my coaching, with my YouTube channel, it has all been built on just having complete and total trust of myself.
Trusting your instinct, your intuition. So I know that if there's some people here, they may not be. Raise your hand in the audience. Have you ever manifested something for yourself? Let us know.
Like, have you ever put out an intention or set some kind of intention and it's happened, even accidentally? Because a lot of times it happens accidentally and people are just kind of like, oh, that's a coincidence.
Yes, definitely. Because if people, I want to kind of customize it. If people don't know how to manifest, let's talk them through doing that, right? But if they do, then we can go a little bit deeper with some of these other next level things that they could do, right? So for those people that have never manifested ever, how should they get started?
I mean, technically, like everybody is manifesting all the time. It's just about retaining an awareness of it and then taking control over it, because it's happening unconsciously all the time. Like everything in our reality, no matter whether you believe in manifestation or not, it's happening all the time. So I guess the practices that have been taught through a lot of these manifestation coaches are just ways to become aware of it so that you can kind of, utilize it for your best interest, rather than kind of letting it control you. And there's this, kind of illusory feeling of being thrashed around by life, of like life is just kind of like controlling you and there's no control that you feel over your life path. You almost kind of like regain a grip on the reins and you can kind of, propel yourself in whatever direction you want to go.
That's very good. Yeah. And so when someone says, okay, I want to work on this, but I need a little bit of help, is that something that you support them with through your business?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the coaching sessions are for. The information is out for free on YouTube. You know, a lot of people can just kind of watch YouTube videos and learn the information themselves and really resonate with it and feel it and apply it. But some people need a little more hand-holding, you know, and that's kind of what the coaching sessions are for people who need that extra step with somebody being there to help them and their specific experience and break things down in a way that works for them, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah, because people learn by different things. Like I never watch the YouTube videos to learn stuff, although a lot of people really do. I'm a doer. I need to just dive in and start doing it.
I'm the same for sure.
Yeah. Now we are on a Web3 platform, so I do want to ask you about Web3. What do you think about it? Are you trading any coins like crypto? Talk to us. Do you have an answer? Are you?
I'm not. No, I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I do. I did write something down about Web3 in my notes, and I kind of wanted to share it because I think it's a really, really fantastic tool for. It's basically a fantastic tool for breaking out of this kind of corrupt system that has been built, which is really just a fractal of a massive, like an even grander kind of neo-Renaissance movement. Like the Web3 thing is just it's a small portion of a massive revolution that we're seeing on a humanitarian level.
I agree with you. There is evidence of that in the life that I've been living. I just see so many shifts in so many different areas and so many chapters, many groups of people. It's exciting. It's a evolution is how I describe it.
It is. It definitely is. Like everything shifts and changes and every society goes through its rises and falls. So I think we're just kind of seeing like a transition happening right now towards, you know, hopefully a more, I have a lot of hope for humanity, honestly. A lot of people don't, but I really have a lot of hope for our kind. 1 second, I'm just gonna plug in my laptop really quick, and I'm gonna have to like unplug this light. So
yeah, for sure. If anyone has any questions for Hannah, drop them into the chat. We do have. Nice to meet you too, Yvonne, Ivan. I'm not sure which one it is, but I love it either way. We had Allergic One pop in and say that he does want to, or they do want to introduce you to their friend who also makes music. Apparently, you guys would make a great duo. They think. I'm sorry, but yeah. So we've had a nice chatter in the chat today, and now Hannah's back with us. We're just talking a little bit about the Web3 and what that all means. There's just so many people I want to introduce you to as well that reminded me of a new woman that I've just met. She is based in New York and very tuned in. Really want you two to meet. How can we find out more about all of the science, these occult sciences and manifestation and all that? Where do we get started in this journey?
Well, my YouTube channel is a great place to start. And I mean, there's other great manifestation coaches as well. But there's this large push in the mainstream towards manifestation specifically, which is great. Like, yes, manifesting is a great power that we all have, but it's honestly just scratching the surface of a really deep iceberg. Like we're on the precipice of a massive technological and scientific revolution that is going to surpass any kind of invention that we've already had, or any kind of technological scientific revolution that's already happened. And it's it's a great thing to be a part of. But yeah, like I would say my YouTube channel is probably a good place to start. Like if you're looking to learn how to manifest and you're wanting to get into energy work of any kind, whether it's to be an energy healer, like if you feel like you're an empath, or you feel like you just have random people come up to you and tell you their problems, you know, or like people will share things, like very personal things with you, or like any other signs of being an empath, like being drained around people, refer to my channel, because I have a lot of information on how to, you know, navigate the life experience of somebody who reads energy.
Love that. And I try to ask everyone that I talk to, if I can, you know, what do you think is the biggest problem facing our world, and how do we go about solving that?
Definitely the lack of connection to ourselves, and to the earth and to spirit. When I say spirit, I don't mean it in like a pseudo, you know, almost kind of religious term. I mean it in a sense of like the life force that is flowing through everyone and connecting everyone. I think the biggest problem that people face today is the lack of awareness that we are all connected. We are connected to each other. We are connected to the earth. We are connected to everything. Like everything is just an extension of you and a reflection of you. And that foundational principle, the lack of awareness of that, is the root of all problems in society. And I actually have a video talking about this on my channel, like the suppression of a lot of occult wisdom and occult information, these really high level perceptions of life. Like if you read like the Kabbalion and such, those ways of thinking have been suppressed for thousands of years as a way to kind of keep people disconnected. You know, and it parallels a lot of like the financial revolution that's happening too with crypto. People are becoming more and more aware of the fact that, you know, they can take control over their finances and their life, and they can have anything that they want physically and financially.
Let me ask you a question. That's, you know, there's been so many questions, Hannah. I want you to know that I wanted to ask you during the stream that I haven't, just that we're going to have another stream. So, for example, like when I'm walking down the street and I make eye contact with someone, you know, I feel like that really helps to like bridge that connection. Like, hey, you know, do you think that, and I also think that loneliness is part of what you're kind of talking about here, right? This lack of connection, this loneliness that people have, that so many people don't feel connected to others, mm-hmm. right? And I also really believe it's important for us to solve these problems. So I absolutely agree with you. And I want to get to the second part of the question, which is how do we solve it, right? But I'm wondering, you know what I'm talking about when you walk past someone and you catch their eyes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just like glance at each other.
And you get that like connection. Do you think that is possible through digital stuff? Like, you know, can I like look into the camera and like, because if I look into the camera, I actually don't see you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're seeing like a makeup of pixels, pretty much. That.
Well, if I'm looking direct into the camera, I'm looking at the camera versus like looking at you, then I'm looking down at your picture. I'm not actually making eye contact. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I mean, there definitely can be a connection, like even through inorganic technology, but it definitely is so much more intense in person. Like physical connection is much more heightened when we are in person with people. And I think, you know, that's kind of like where the shadow aspect of Web3 and not even just Web3, but social media in particular, like the shadow side of it is kind of, I think, exacerbating that, like that lack of connection that we feel because we're not actually connecting with people. We're connecting with pixels on a screen, you know?
So how do we solve this issue, this challenge, this opportunity to create more connection?
I just think creating more incentives for community. You know, people love to socialize. I mean, we're social animals, but creating the spaces where people can socialize and build community, to encourage them to get off of, you know, whatever it is that they're doing, at least take a break and go outside and connect with people, or, you know, it doesn't have to be outside, but just connecting with people in general. It's super necessary and grounding.
So interesting. Literally this morning when I was talking to this other woman, Emily, from the mystery school, we were talking about community, and I was sharing with her that, like, you know, community is really important right now, but we're going to hit a breaking point. I like that you're saying outside, because what you said earlier is very important too, because right now what we're seeing is a lot of online communities being created. But that is not the thing. We need the in real life.
Yeah, and I mean, we can blend it to where, like, kind of my mom does something called Neighborly, or I don't know what it's called. Next door, yeah. So it's kind of like that. Like, we need more stuff like that, like almost middlemen platforms that can connect people so that they can get together in person. Because that's the great aspect of social media, right? Is that we can connect with people that we wouldn't previously have been able to connect with. You know, you kind of extend your audience, or, you know, your potential connections with social media. So it's just about coming to a healthy middle ground, right? Like, nothing inherently is good or bad. It's just about finding that balance and then maintaining it, you know, so that we can progress forward in a healthy manner.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm an investor at Nextdoor. I love it. Everyone should download and use it. I think it's fantastic. So I can't believe an hour just kind of flew by. Hannah, my gosh. We barely got to get into anything, but we did get into a lot. I just wanted to let you know that you're such a beautiful light. I'm looking at the camera here, so I want to be looking right at you. And I'm so excited to have met you and to see where you're going to be going and where you're going to be growing, and what new leaves are going to come out and come for you. And I'm just excited and very humbled and grateful to be along for the ride and the journey. So how can people that want to stay in touch with you keep in touch? If they want to reach out to you, they have more questions for you.
Well, I mean, I have a Facebook group on my website that people can access. It's literally just a button in the menu. You can join the Facebook group, just answer the questions, please. That's all I ask. And, you know, my Instagram, my YouTube, my email, all of that stuff is on my YouTube channel. And it's also on my website. So, I mean, I could also drop the links here in the little tab as well.
Nice, nice. Excellent. Well, thank you for those that stuck around for this stream. We really appreciate it and hope to meet you guys all soon. If you have any questions for Hannah, we're going to be wrapping up, so you should drop them into the chat now so that we can make sure to ask them. And other than that, just really go out and have a really amazing rest of your day.
Thank you so much, guys.